Welcome to Across the Pa- Welcome to Across the Table podcast. I'm your host Dionysius, and today we have a special guest. We have a local business owner and operator of Constance Care Physiotherapy in the south end of Ottawa. He's a former Canadian University athlete. He holds a Bachelor's of Science from the University of Ottawa with a concentration in human kinetics. He has a Master's of Health Science with a major in physiotherapy from the University of Ottawa. He's a proud husband, a father of 4 young boys, and unfortunately, he's a proud San Francisco 49ers fan. Welcome to the show, Jethro Constant.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm
good. Let's hop into this. So, why did you decide to make your practice offer mobile services within your clinic? Because generally speaking, most physiotherapists or locations are just a physical location. I have to go to it. So what brought that about?
You know what? To be honest, I think a lot of changes and a lot of, like I say, an evolution happened with the practice of physiotherapy during COVID.
Okay.
Right. The big thing with COVID, people were working from home, so getting time off wasn't optimal. Some people, to be quite honest, were scared to go outside, right? With everything that was going on. So when I first started thinking about creating my company, like I was an independent contractor at another location. I'm still there working out of that location 2 days a week,
Okay.
called Human 2.0. But then I figured, you know what? I got to start my own thing. And when that happened, it was like, okay, what's the model going to be? Yes, there's options in clinic because some people like that clinic setting, and some people ask me to go to their gym. Some people ask me to go to their home. Some people ask me to go to their office.
Okay.
So just the ability to have so many options for people and not have it being restricted to one physical location. I figured, you know what, it's a change of pace, and also it will broaden how many people I'm going to see, because some people just can't make it out for whatever reason. So if I come to them, they're more than happy, right? So, it just seemed like a natural thing.
Yeah. I can speak for myself in terms of habits. I now order food to my house, clothes to my house, services to my house. Do you think mobile physiotherapy will be the way of the future?
It's a very good question. I think it's a matter of personality. I think some people, especially like professionals and things like that, they're like, listen, like you said, I'm gonna order food so I can keep working. Thank you. You came to the door. All right, I get my food. I pay for it. It's the same thing with physio. So it's like, okay, I know I need this taken care of. So you can come to the house. I don't have to worry about a commute, and you work on me for whatever amount of time, and then I can go back to doing what I'm doing. Now, the other thing is, it's mobile, but it's also like education based, right?
Okay.
In the sense that, yes, I'm going to come and see you, but I make it abundantly clear that, listen, there's 168 hours in a week. If I come to see you for half an hour to an hour, you're not going to see a difference, right? So, yes, I can come to you and I can help you out on the spot, but heed my warnings at the same time. And if I give you homework, that's one of the big things with me is there's an element of accountability, and there's also an element of access, right? Because one of the things is with a lot of physiotherapists, it's like, okay, I'm seeing my physiotherapist on Tuesday. He made an appointment for me to see him or her to see them for an appointment in a week. In that week, a lot could happen, right? So being a mobile service and being a service that provides access, then you don't have to wait till the week after. You can message me in 2 days and say, hey, this ain't working. You gave me some programming. This is a little bit tough for me. Or, oh, can you come back sooner? Things like that.
Right.
So in terms of asking, is it the wave of the future? Yes, because I think that people, especially after COVID, they're realizing, hey, I need to move more. And I need to do that by any means necessary, whether that's fitting it into my workday at home, whether it's me taking time off work, whatever the case may be. I have to do something.
Okay. I don't know how our paths crossed. All I know is my mom was my mom was sick and she had an injury and she needed therapy, physiotherapy. Your name came across my table and I introduced the two of you, and I'll be honest, I was a little shocked. Generally speaking, it takes a while to see some type of progression with my mom. Within a week, I saw progression. You kind of touched on it, but what are one or two things you do differently at Constance Care Physiotherapy that others may not do?
Well, yes, it's a constant care thing, but I do know that there's a lot of other practitioners that have the same mentality as me. I'm just, movement is medicine.
Okay.
Movement is medicine. So one of the biggest differences is somewhere along the lines in our profession, there has been a little bit of confusion, a bit of misconception that has come along. That misconception being, hey, I go to physiotherapy, they put their hands on me for like three to 5 minutes, and then they put machines on me, and then I'll be back in a week, right? Whereas the profession of physiotherapy started during the World Wars. And what it was to get soldiers not necessarily back into action, but back on their feet after an injury. There were no machines back then. There were no ice packs readily available, during wartime.
Right.
It was, okay, you happen to be next to an explosion and now you can't walk. Okay, well, we got to get you up and get you walking. So they would pick them up. They would, push them into moving, right? And somewhere along the lines, call it capitalism, call it whatever,
right.
Call it being a cash cow type of situation. It was like, oh, we invented this machine and that machine. Oh, you mean I could see 4 people at the same time? And it just got lost. Right. You know what I mean? So kudos to all the physios who don't do that. I ain't gonna hate on the hustlers who do it that way as well. I'm not calling out names, but the number of times I've seen people who I started working with and they're like, oh, this is physiotherapy? I've been to physiotherapy before. This isn't physiotherapy. I'm like, yes, it is.
Those were the same sentiments my mom had. She was like, this is different. This is not, and she was elated. I can move. I can do this. And I was like, okay.
But that's the goal, right? Like the goal is not for you to see me forever.
Right.
Some people will see me for maintenance, or sometimes, yes, there are injuries that are longer term, but there's no, okay, you're going to be my patient for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to get you moving. I want to give you education to the point that I have patients that come back, and by the time they come back, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot, like the last time I saw you, you told me to do this, and I felt better and I stopped doing it. And I'm like, so you treated yourself. Like you didn't even really need me. And the way I look at it is like, okay, yes, as you stated, like I have 4 sons. We're a family of 6, including my wife. So yeah, I could go down that route of just trying to be a cash cow, sure. But I feel like there's a sense of integrity there where I don't want to just do things for the sake of doing it to, pay my bills. Anyone who knows me is I get personally invested in, whomever I'm working with, okay. Right? Like I want to see them be better. So, if they're not getting better, then you can even ask my wife, like I'll be at home and she'll see me kind of just stewing. And she's like, what's up? I'm like, it's just someone I saw today. I'm just trying to figure out, what the issue was or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So it's just like movement is medicine. You got to get people moving. That's the bottom line. That's the whole point of why they're coming to see you. They're coming to see you because there's an issue with the way they're moving or the way they're feeling physically. You have to get them moving. You have to.
Okay. One of the things I was going to ask is, what do you see in your eyes that other physiotherapists are maybe potentially doing wrong? But you kind of really harped on that, I think, without saying it, is some are just in it simply for the money, as opposed to actually taking care of patients. And I think that's true of every profession. There's going to be people who take advantage of it. In terms of myself, personal experience, as a university athlete, I got injured, playing men's league, thinking I was in the NBA. I got injured. Knock on wood, I haven't been injured recently, but when I went to physiotherapy, I would say from the age of 16 till even now, 90% of the process is the same, like you touched on. It's I come in, I get an ice pack, I go over there, I grab the ice pack, I sit there. 10 minutes later, they come over. I'm either doing a TENS machine, I'm doing physiotherapy. Oh, here's an exercise, here's some strengthening, and here's the bill. See you later. If you had 30 seconds to convince someone why they need physiotherapy, what would you say?
I'd say that, I'll use a cliche that I use a lot, okay? When it comes to physiotherapy and your long-term health goals, your longevity, you have to play chess, not checkers. What I mean by that is you have to look at what's the long-term goal, right? A lot of people that I see, they come and see me when they're 5 years out of retirement. So they spent all their time losing their mobility and their ability to move. Now they have this short window to get it back. You got to think long-term, like, okay, I want to play with my kids. I want to play with my grandkids. I want to travel. I want to be able to play sports, adult leagues, right? I want to be able to dance with my wife. I want to be able to do all these different things. So my pitch right there is just, do you enjoy moving now?
Yeah.
Don't you want to keep moving without feeling pain, soreness, or not moving optimally? And when I say moving optimally, I'm not saying just getting from point A to point B. I'm saying you can skip from point A to point B. You can jump from point A to point B. You can run from point A to point B. Not just get there, right? You want to get there and feel good about how you got there.
I like that. I'm gonna have a couple people call you after this. What's one thing you wish every potential patient understood before they come to see you?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's a lot, but if I want to really narrow it down, you are coming to see us for our expertise,
Right.
right? So you can Google things till the cows come home, but have an open mind as to what we're saying, because at the end of the day, you're coming to us
For your expertise.
for our expertise and for help, right? Or else you wouldn't need to come and see us. So, whether it's myself, whether it's a massage therapist, whether it's a chiro, whether it's whatever, know that you are coming to us. We didn't go look for y'all.
Right.
You came to us, and you are coming to us to help you solve a problem in terms of pain or function or whatever the case may be. So keep that in mind when you are communicating with a healthcare practitioner, that they're there to help you, right? So I'm a little bit lucky. Like I'm a large black man. It's not often, if at all, that I'm gonna have someone speak any type of way or
Right.
give attitude or things like that. But when people get mad at you, it's like, yo, you came to me. I'm trying to help you out.
Right.
So just know that we're trying to help you as best as we can. Right? And there's no guarantees. That's the other thing too. That's what's big. Some people think that they go into a situation and it's a guaranteed solution. I like to think that I know what I'm doing and that God's blessed me with the ability to do the job that I do. But there are no guarantees. I'm not saying I have a success rate of 100% here. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there could be another issue that I can't help you with. Maybe it's something else that's going to help you. Maybe there's a nutrient deficiency. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something I don't see. Because we, as practitioners, we are still fallible because we're human beings.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We may see one thing and get it wrong. You know what I mean? Oh, I think you have this sprain. Oh, actually, it's this type of fracture. My apologies. You know what I mean? But that's why I know for me personally, I'm hard-headed like that, where I will try and help you. But I also understand that if something is not getting better, I'll be the first one to say, hey, let's get some scans. Maybe there's something we're not seeing here. So, I can only take it as far as I can't see inside your body. We're only taking it as far as we can go. If I can't help you in any way, shape, or form, I'll either refer you to someone like a sports med doctor or whatever, or I'll say, hey, you should maybe get some scans. Or sometimes it just doesn't fit as in terms of me being your physiotherapist. You might find another physiotherapist that you jive with a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to have that, like, my sisters broke my brain when I was a kid. Okay, so like, so me feeling shame, it's not a thing. So if someone's like, hey, I worked with this physiotherapist, it was a better fit. I'm like, all right, cool. Are you feeling better?
That's all that matters.
Okay, that's all that matters. That's all I care about.
Right. I'll admit myself, I'm not necessarily the best patient. I know when I had my thumb fractured or some knee issues, it was do this 3 times a day, and I would really only do it once a day. Are there common mistakes you see people make within the process of healing themselves? That it's very obvious and it's just consistent with across the board.
Communication.
So?
What I mean by that is they don't ask questions. They don't comment. Like, for example, whomever gave you exercises to do, gave you movements to do.
Yeah.
Did they follow up with you? Did they say, hey, how are you doing with exercises? Is there one that's bothering you? Is there one that you're really doing well with? How consistently are you doing it? Are you doing it again, part of that is the honor system with whomever your patient is, right? It's a matter of, again, communicating. And I like to establish that right from the beginning. It's like, listen, we're going to be on a bit of a journey. So you got to be honest with me. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm not going to have you come here every week and just, take your resources and you're not getting better. And I know you're not going to get better. You know what I mean? Okay. But I need, on the flip side, for you to tell me, hey, this is working for me. This is not working for me. And we'll adjust based on that. How you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me, one of the biggest mistakes, I've been doing this for over 15 years. Okay? I know I look pretty dumb. I've been doing this for over 15 years. But I know that, like, when I talk to a patient, I'm going to say, listen, like I said to you earlier, what you do here is just guidance. The rest of the week belongs to you. Right. I'm not with you, right? But at the same time, I'll say, hey, if you are not sure about something, if you have questions about something, like, just communicate it with me, because the next time you come in, I'm going to know whether you did what I asked you to do or not. Right. Like, I'm going to be able to tell, you know what I mean? For the most part, just because I've been doing it for so long. So the biggest misconception, I would say, is really not communicating your needs, what you want to do. And I'll say one of the biggest mistakes that physiotherapists make, I did it when I did it earlier in my career. I don't do it now. Do not overprescribe things to people. What I mean by overprescribe, if I see a young gentleman come in or a young woman come in and I say, okay, here you go. Here are 12 exercises I want you to do. How many do you think she's going to do?
3.
If that, right? I'm a big fan of trying to look for efficiency. So if I give you 12, if you come in and tell me, oh, it's worse, which of those 12 made it worse?
No idea.
Oh, I feel better. Which of those 12 made it better? I have no idea, right? So typically, I will give people, like, tools, right? I'll say, okay, here's like 4 exercises. Here's 5 exercises. I may eventually give you a total of, like, maybe 10, 15, whatever, but I'll never say do them all. Okay. I'll say do 2 or 3, kind of pick and choose, do a few here, do a few there, just so that you can expose your body to different things. But don't overprescribe, because a lot of times I get patients and they're like, yeah, my last physio gave me like 12 exercises and I did none. And I'm like, I would do none either if someone gave me that many. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
So you've been in, like you said, about 15 years in the game. What's one of the most unconventional or surprising treatment therapies you've ever tried with a patient?
Interesting. There's a type of technique that I use called adaptive bodywork. I learned it from a therapist by the name of John Sutherland out of the Quebec side, and he learned it from someone on the U.S. side. Okay. What it is basically, it's very similar to ART, except like you use...
Sorry. ART, break it down for me.
So ART is active release therapy. Okay. So it's a technique to release deep tissue, scar tissue, things like that. Whereas adaptive bodywork is very similar to that, but instead of using your hands and movement, You actually use like you still use your hands, but you use different body parts as well. Like a lot of times people will come in and they'll see me like stepping on people, right? They'll see me digging my elbow into people. Like,
Sorry, give me the metrics. What are you, like 6?
I have good body control though, so they don't have to worry about my weight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just make sure you don't make fun of the Niners or anything like that before the treatment starts. If you want to make fun of them after. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just I found adaptive bodywork is a big one that works really well. And
what would be examples that people would see to connect the two?
So between adaptive bodywork and ART, for example?
Yeah, like cupping, for example, what would that be?
Cupping is more of like a passive modality. What you mean by passive is like the patient doesn't have to really do anything.
Okay.
Right? Whereas adaptive bodywork, you typically have the patient doing a movement while you're applying pressure somewhere to release the muscle. Right? So like, for example, like I might step on the person's shoulder and have them move around at the same time. Why? Because what it does is, so muscle is encapsulated by what's called fascia. So it's just like a thin sheath. Think of like a sausage, right? There's like a thin sheath on the sausage and then everything inside. So what you're doing is you're putting pressure and then creating friction so that thin sheath can expand. And then once that thin sheath expands, it allows the muscle within to breathe. So then it makes things a little bit looser. Okay. So I find it's really good for tight muscles. You get results pretty quickly, and especially with people post-operatively, within protocol, in different body parts. And you never step on a joint. You never put an elbow on a joint. You never things like that. It's usually the supporting structures around it. I just find that you tend to get results fairly quickly using those types of techniques. Okay. Of course, you also have to encourage like stay hydrated and different things like that, so that and continue to stretch, continue to do the exercises, so that those effects are long lasting. Okay. Yeah.
This is gonna be a broad one, but for someone hearing this or watching this, busy lifestyle, and they only have 5 to 10 minutes a day to improve their health, what would you suggest they do?
Well, first and foremost, move. That's the first thing. Man, 5 to 10 minutes. What are you, a superhero? You got 5 to 10 minutes in a day? That's it? Dang. Okay. I would say grab a support if you're not able to, but get into a deep squat. Okay. Get into a deep squat. Squat as deep as you can, because you'll notice you look.
Are you holding it, or are you just going?
I would hold it. I would hold it and just kind of hang out there. Maybe shift your weight side to side, open up, just kind of move around in that deep squat as much as possible. Move the shoulders around, move the neck around. Just move. The reason I say squat is because it hits a lot of things, right? It opens up your hips, it opens up your low back, it opens up your ankles. If you're in that squat and you move your shoulders, you're doing all of that at the same time. And we also live in a Western society where like mobility is not the greatest, right? Like we saw that during COVID, how, it was the Western world that seemed to get really beat down, right? And what do we know about the Western society is like we're not the healthiest society, right? But if you look in countries of the world, like if you look at Africa, if you look in Asia, like a lot of them could just get into a deep squat and just kind of chill there, right? To the point that you look in some countries in Asia, like they don't even have seats at their bus stops. It's literally just either stand or get into a squat. That's it, right? You look at Africa, right? People just get into a squat; they have no problem, right? And I always laugh when some ignorant people sometimes will be talking about Africa and they're like, oh look, like are they as civilized as this and da da da. I'm like, yo, they can move. Yeah. Just because you can throw a donut in the microwave doesn't mean you're more civilized than the next person. You can and they move way better than you can. You know what I mean? So it really, again, to answer your question, if it's really, really quick, I would get into a deep squat and just kind of play around there, move my shoulders around, move my neck around for 5 minutes or so, and just keep it moving after that.
Okay. As a business owner myself, I'm always growing, evolving professionally and personally. Being that you've owned your business for how long now?
I've been an independent contractor for a while, and then I incorporated in 2023.
Okay. Yeah. What's the most unexpected lesson you've learned from running your own business?
Well, two things. Your time is valuable, right? Like
Especially with 4 kids.
with 4 kids.
And wife.
Exactly.
Yes.
Your time is valuable, and expenses accumulate fast.
Okay.
Very, very fast. I know, especially as a physiotherapist, like there's so many fees and things like that. But when you get to getting, to a corporate level of things, like after incorporating, the expenses of like, accountants, bookkeepers, this, that, it accumulates really, really fast. You know what I mean? So really just take into account everything. Um, I'm still in the process of learning. Like I said, I've been incorporated since 2023, so we're talking like a year and a half, 2 years, which is a little bit different from, you know, being an independent contractor, right? Like now, I'll get an email from my bookkeeper. She'll be like, "Yo, justify this," and I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, I spent it on this." Or
I had a couple drinks. My 49ers lost in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold. That's cold. That's cold. That's cold. The refs cheated, but that's cool. Oh man, but yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest. Your time is valuable, and that your expenses accumulate quickly. However, you do have a sense of freedom.
Okay.
Which feels good, right? You're not beholden to anybody.
You are to yourself, though, right?
Yes, to yourself. But what I mean by that is like, if for example, my wife or one of my kids, they're like, "Oh, I have this going on. Can you take this day off?" I just look in the mirror and I ask my boss.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is a sense of freedom there where you don't have to ask anybody. Well, my wife is kind of my boss, but I love you. But you just kind of are able to just make moves
Right.
for yourself, which is really nice.
I know you've treated some high-profile athletes, particularly when they come home in the summer. What would you say is the most rewarding experience you've had as a physiotherapist?
It's kind of cool when you see one of your patients winning a championship, and you know how much work they put in, and it's not even let's say it's not like a thing of self-pride or anything like that. It's just like you look at them and you're like, man, that person worked hard.
They made a sacrifice.
They made a sacrifice and they achieved a goal. So it's really nice to see that. It's nice to see, whether they win a championship, whether they make it to, another level that they were trying to make it to. They signed a new contract, like stuff like that. Like it's very rewarding when you see that. It's really, really cool.
So I am, let's say I'm 16 years old, 15, 16 years old. What day-to-day movement stretches would you recommend for me to do at that age to ensure that my body's going to be okay if I want to be a professional athlete in 6, 10 years?
Excuse me. That's a good question. I mentioned the deep squat already. I mentioned the deep squat. Then I would probably throw in there, there's these movements called controlled articular rotations. It's kind of a fancy word just for rotation of a joint.
Okay.
Just do that throughout the body.
Give me an example.
So like a scapular car would just be moving my shoulder like that.
So you mean like in middle class teachers talking, they're just
straight up. Or just moving my neck or moving my hips the same way. Just keep your joints lubricated.
Yeah.
Lubricated
Interesting.
as much as possible, because if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things in this society, man. I'm 42 years old. I have no business moving better than 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. No business. But again, a lot of that is gaming, social media, right. Things like that, where they just stay seated. It's just, it's terrible, right? Being on your computer, sitting in class. That's why I know for me personally, my wife and I, we had this discussion, and one of the reasons we purposely put our kids in a sports study school was so that they move, right? Because just sitting at a desk, like that ain't it, man. Like there's a reason why, if you look at Scandinavian countries, like they don't really put their kids in classrooms until like intermediate school. You know what I mean? Like they know that, you know, from kindergarten all the way to like grade 6, grade 7, it makes no sense to have them just sitting in class. Not to mention, like, you know, you start to see the differences between boys and girls. Like, ask a young boy to sit in class for hours on end. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just, you know, try and move every joint, keep them moving, keep them lubricated, and that's the first thing to start with.
Okay.
I would say. Then after that, you know, you could go into some specialty movements or whatever, but start with that for sure.
Wrapping up here, just going to have a couple of questions.
Sure.
If you weren't a physiotherapist, what completely unrelated career would you be pursuing right now?
Well, funny story. Before I went into human kinetics, I actually did a year of mechanical engineering. Yeah.
You don't stress. Sorry, I'm just saying.
You know what? My wife says that she describes me as a jerk. Let me explain.
Okay.
She says you're a jock and a nerd, so you're kind of a jerk.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
At first, I was like,
yeah.
wow. I was like, what did I do? But like, you know, I love physiotherapy. I love the body, but I'm big on like mathematics, problem solving, things like that. I really, really love that. I don't think I would have stayed in mechanical engineering just because as you go further along in mechanical engineering, it's like the numbers disappear. Everything becomes very theoretical. So I think if I wasn't a physiotherapist, I think I'd probably be a teacher.
Okay.
Probably.
I can see that.
I don't know, these badass kids these days. I don't know. I don't know if I'd still be a teacher, but
You know, that's what someone's saying about yours, right?
yeah. Hey, listen. I knew what I was, so it is what it is. I knew I was a smart ass. I knew all that stuff. So, yeah, I think I'd probably be teaching in some capacity. If not, I don't know. You know what? If not, don't worry, babe. Don't kill me when I say this. I probably would have. I could see myself being something like a firefighter.
Whoa, really?
Something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Just because it's still physical. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like my calling is service in some capacity.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, you know, as a teacher, you're serving. As a firefighter, you'd be serving. So I just feel like right now as a physiotherapist, like, this is my calling. I'm serving.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
What's one thing people can't find out about you from Google?
One thing they can't find out about me? The first thing that popped in my mind is that, like, I'm crazy. What could they not find about me on Google? I'm extremely open-minded.
Okay.
Borderlining on wearing a foil hat. So I ain't gonna put a label on myself.
Yeah.
But I'm very open-minded.
Okay.
And I really take to heart the concept of I truly believe I know nothing, so I'm always in the search of learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite quote or one book you think everyone should read?
Favorite quote, Carpe Diem, which is Latin for seize the day.
Favorite quote, sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
favorite quote, favorite quote, seize the day.
Okay.
Just again, life is short. You know, one of the things we take for granted the most is that we make it home every night. Right? So, Carpe Diem is a big one. Obviously, like, you know, with my beliefs as a Christian, I want to say the Bible as a book, because you can find everything in there. You can find poetry, you can find lessons, you can find drama, you can find an HBO series level of violence. You can find a lot of things in there. In terms of a novel, I'd put it up there between either To Kill a Mockingbird or Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
I have another one, but that's foil hat.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say
Okay.
that.
Okay. We'll leave that alone.
We'll leave that one alone.
YouTube might ban me. You're stuck on an island. You can take only 3 items with you, and people aren't an option. What are you taking?
People aren't an option.
Yeah.
My glasses. My glasses. photo album,
Okay.
and the Bible.
Okay. Okay. If you could collaborate with anyone in the world, whether within healthcare or in another industry, who would it be and why?
No disrespect to you. Probably collaborate with Joe Rogan. Just because he has a platform.
All right.
And if you want to get a message out,
Yeah.
you might as well go to the biggest platform
I hear you.
that you can find
Okay.
and kind of, scream from the hilltops.
Right. What's the best advice you ever received?
Ooh. Best advice I ever got, probably from my mom. Put everything in God.
Okay.
From my mom, yeah.
Okay.
Put everything in God's hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was a great interview. I enjoyed that. Where can people find you and get in contact with you?
They can find me. I have my company website, which is www.constantcarephysio.com. They can also find me on Instagram, jcon, JCON, THA,
Okay.
physio, PHYSIO. And I also have like a subsequent IG, which is at Constant Care Physio as well.
Okay.
And I have like my own YouTube channel, Thoughts with Jet, where
So the tinfoil hat stuff comes out, or?
No, it's more like pop culture, just cracking jokes.
Okay.
A lot of like edits and stuff. Just my thoughts on certain things, my perspectives on certain things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jethro, thank you for that. We enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.